Hey everyone, Kyo here. This video will be the first in a set of videos that will be designed to teach you how to play NxB like a pro. Whether you want to play meta or you just want to pull on your favorite units and play them for fun, this video will help improve your knowledge of the game and improve your gameplay. Our journey starts here in this first video where I will teach you how to combo utilizing knockdown tiers and create infinite combos using loops. Let's get started. So let's talk about knockdowns first. Currently in NxB Ninja Voltage, from what I know, there are 6 different types of knockdown effects, and those can be divided into 3 tiers. Alright, so let's start with tier 1. For tier 1, we have knockdown, or what I call KD. The animation for this effect is when the target falls to its knees. This animation has a 2-second recovery period. See here, we hit her at 25, by 23 she's recovering. Here 20, by 18 she's recovering. So we'll show a few examples of this with different characters. Alright, so now we're going to look at the tier 2 knockdown effects, and we have 3 of those. The first one we'll look at is knockback, or KB, and the animation just looks like the enemy falling back or falling forwards depending on which way the jutsu carries them, and it looks just like this. So they just fall straight back. Not really much to look at, and they have 1.5 seconds of recovery. So you'll see here, I'll knock him down around 215. That was like 215 and a half, so he's up by 213, down by 210 and a half, up by 208, down by 206, up by 204 and a half. So yeah, we'll look at a few of those. So for our second tier 2 knockdown effect, we'll be talking about pull. This also has about a 2-second animation recovery period, and despite not being a knockdown itself, it does fall into the tier system. As we get into combos, it'll become a little bit more apparent about why, but it simply looks like this. You start to pull towards you, they do that 360 spin, show it from this direction, and again they have about 2 seconds of recovery period. The window for attacking them is a little less than 2 seconds, but it does have 2 seconds. You'll see here, and we'll just show a couple more examples of that. Alright, so we're going to talk about our last tier 2 knockdown effect, and that is knock up or KU. What this looks like is the animation just throws the target high and back in the air, so they fly high up and back a couple of feet. This does have a 3-second animation recovery period. So I'll just show what that looks like. Also, not a lot of characters have this, or at least when they're normal jutsus. This seems to happen a lot more in ultimate jutsus. So I'll just showcase B and then about 2 others to kind of get the gist of what it looks like. So you see, 202 just flies back, and he's not recovering until 199 about, up and back, until that's knock up. So for our third and final tier of knockdown effects, we have tier 3. The first one we'll be talking about is Knockback Plus, or what I call KB Plus. And what this does is essentially throws the enemy back in a backflip, and then they roll a couple of times. This has 3 seconds of animation recovery, and we'll show what that looks like. So you'll see here, I hit him at 313, and he's not recovering until 210, so 3 seconds. And you see like this gets going backwards, and then he just rolls a couple of times. So that is Knockback Plus. We'll show a couple examples of that. So continuing tier 3, we have our last tier 3 knockdown effect, and this is Knock Up Plus, or what I call KU Plus. The animation just throws the enemy straight up in the air. There's no backwards momentum or force being applied, and the recovery animation is 2 seconds. So you see here, he just comes up, toss him up to 216 about, 214 he's recovering, toss him up 209, 207 he starts to recover, 202, 2 he starts to recover. So that's Knock Up Plus. We'll just show a couple more examples. Now to talk about combos. Previously we talked recovery time and tiers. This is because combos chain up from tier 1 to tier 2, from tier 2 to tier 3, or from tier 1 to tier 3. As long as I attack the defender with a higher tier of knockdown before they recover from the last tier, I can chain a combo. This does have limits, as you can only chain up to 3 KD effects. I'll show some examples. Alright, so we have Kawaki, we're going to showcase our first set of examples. If you remember from our tier 1 examples, lunge is a KD effect, or knockdown effect that gives me 2 seconds of recovery, and I can chain that into flight, which is a knockback, tier 2. The order does matter, so you'll see I can go from tier 1 to tier 2. And with really no regard for time, it can be as fast as possible. So again, I can literally just do that, and even before he's fully down, I can go into a knockback effect. However, I cannot go into a knockback effect into a knockdown effect. That requires precise timing. And so that's pretty much like where the benefit of a combo comes in. I can start attack chains without really thinking about what the follow-up has to be, as long as I'm going from tier 1 to tier 2. So we're going to do a full tier combo for Kawaki. We're going to go from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3. So tier 1. And again, I don't really have to like make any effort for timing. It's really simple. I can never be too early with this. Alright, so for our last Kawaki example, his normal attack is also actually a tier 2 knockback, so we're just going to show how it doesn't work between 2 tiers. You see, I cannot re-knock him down, however, if I do this, I get knocked back, but I can't knock him back twice. Alright, so another unit that has a good example of tier 1 to tier 3 knockdown effects is EMS Sasuke. And the big significance of a knockdown combo, or a combo in general, is you want to get to the point where you can kill someone, or you can get as much damage as possible without thinking about having the time or worry about counterattacks. So one of the, like I said, the significance here is like being able to get a kill. If I start with Amatoss where I have 2 seconds, I can immediately go into this, knockback, immediately go into that, knockback plus, and then I can get my and you see, like, it does not ever have a chance to recover here. I can chain all 4 of these. Ultimately, what happens here is I do Amatoss through Raise, and then I do Sword Wave. All these are cooldown. I have a chance to either start an infinite or try to get the kill. Obviously, I'm trying to get a kill here, so I use my ultimate. Just show another example of that. I can even go from here. I can skip all of that, and if I can hit the Sword Wave, I automatically get a kill. Again, the recovery period is longer than taking a circle. So that's really like the significance of like the tiers and the cooldown. The tiers and the recovery period. So we're going to talk a little bit about infinites now. Now let's talk about infinites. Unlike combos that don't require precise timing, infinites do. However, the big upside to this is being able to chain knockdowns even if they are in the same tier or lower. So for example, if I hit enemy with a tier 3 knockdown, typically I should not be able to chain into a tier 1 or a tier 2, but if I get my timing right, I actually can chain into the knockdown. And that requires precise timing. We'll go over a couple examples now. Alright, so now we're going to use Kawaki as an example. You'll see here we have another unit that has tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 knockback effects, with burst being tier 3, flight being tier 2, and then lunge being tier 1. And we'll just kind of like showcase a loop. So we'll get him spawned in, maybe get him his immunity, and then tier 3. And then tier 2. Tier 1. And another tier 1. And another tier 1. And another tier 1. So he's gonna get up this time. And another tier 1. Tier 2. And another tier 1. Tier 2. Tier 3, I'm not gonna get recovery that time. But you'll see, where before I have no regard for timing, I can literally just go tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. I actually do have to time my attacks a little bit here. So timing is really important. We'll just do another one. Alright, so we showed what it looks like when it works. We're gonna now show what it looks like when it doesn't work. So this time I'm just going to mess up my timing terribly, right? So go here. And you'll see he actually does start his jutsu, right? as the AI will counterattack, and as you can see, like sometimes it's pretty fatal. If you drop it, then it's kind of a done deal. Alright, so we showcased a couple of infinites. Now we're going to talk about how infinites work. And how do you even determine if a character can use an infinite? To do that, the first thing we have to look at are their jutsu cooldowns. So you see we have lunge at 4 seconds, transformation, flight at 3 seconds, and burst at 7 seconds. Now we're talking about the recovery. The recovery for burst, because it's a knockback plus, is 3 seconds. The recovery for flight is 1.5 seconds. And then the recovery for lunge is 2 seconds. So just looking at these two, lunge and flight, I already know 2 seconds plus 1.5 is 3.5. So my recovery time is actually longer than the cooldown time of one of these jutsus. Like that's just considering those two. That's not even thinking about burst. So I know just from these two, I can create a loop. Because by the time I use flight and I hit them with lunge, if I time everything correctly, flight will always be back up, and by the time flight is up, I get another 1.5 seconds, which will always let me loop back into lunge. So that's not even considering burst, which is the third jutsu. So that's how you can typically tell how if you can do it like an infinite. We'll look at another character. You'll see EMS we have here. As I talked about earlier, his sword wave is 3 seconds. Knockback plus is 3 seconds recovery, cooldown is 3 seconds. So that actually is a perfect infinite, or a perfect infinite loop. That's why I can just constantly do this over and over again without even having to like think about the timing, because it just works out perfectly. Even if we look at Heavy Sasuke, again the cooldowns, Chidori is 3 seconds and Senbon is 4 seconds, but this recovery is 2 seconds, this recovery is 2 seconds. So I have 4 seconds of recovery over 3 seconds of cooldown, so I should always be able to loop this, because by the time this comes back up, it'll buy me another 2 seconds, which means Senbon will be back up. And again, we're not even talking about jutsus that reduce cooldown times. So if we look at Edohashi's Wood Style Collapsing Deity, you see this has a 6 second cooldown. But at jutsu level 8, it decreases ninjutsu cooldown time by all in the same floor for a set period of time, medium. So that's about half. So you'll see, even though I get 3 seconds of a knockback there, because it's a knockback plus, and I have 3 seconds of cooldown, so I can actually infinitely loop this. So that's how a little bit of how infinites work. Yeah, so we'll do a couple of examples using these characters I just showed here. Alright, so we have Kwaki here. We're gonna do our burst lunge combo, and we're just gonna recycle that for a little bit. We will let what's his face get immunity first, so he doesn't die so fast. So he is. Bro, chill. There we go, burst. So we'll zoom in a little bit here just so you can see it. Again, you really want to get them as they're like once they're standing up, but not quite. The timing does take quite a bit of practice, but like once you've gotten it down, it's just very hard to forget. So yeah, just keep practicing. So you see here. Yeah, just keep practicing. I would honestly, if you're gonna practice, EMS is probably the best person to practice with because of his perfect loop. It really ensures that you're watching like what the actual visual cue is, because you literally just have to press that. Alright, so we have heavy here. Actually missed, which actually works out. We can give him immunity. Notice a little longer. So that's heavy stuff. Alright, so for our last example we have Hashi, and I'll pretty much just be baiting this. You'll see like I can actually do it longer than 30 seconds. I can pretty much outlast his link board immunity for seal. So now it begins. He's just another character where it's like extremely easy to infinite with, similar to Sasuke. The only thing with him is you kind of can be too early, because the recovery does happen so fast. Yeah, so now he's actually sealed. See there, I messed up, but he got sealed. It's like right here, the only knockdown occurs. Enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Even if it's just, you know, one thing, I hope it helped you out. I will be creating more videos like this, not necessarily touching on combos and infinites again, but as we explore how to play the game in a way that does not revolve around meta or just ulting every room. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. I have more tips and tricks and secrets to show you guys about this game, or show everyone about this game. I really, really hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. Well, actually, definitely subscribe. If you're watching this content, I've been doing NxB videos for about 4 years. Just subscribe if you've been watching me. Yeah, I have more content planned. We will be introducing the Gokunin series back again, and we also will be doing some more stuff. We'll probably try to make it a little bit more fun so it's not as intensive or as long. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. NxB out.